Hey guys, Marsingan here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to talk about the physical Super Saiyan 3 Rose slash Full Power Rose, go through his link set here and discuss some of his best link partners and the best teams that you are going to be able to run him on. Obviously, when it comes to the Heroes units, concerns about them being locked onto specific teams are always a thing. And with these new units, we have seen that they do have some restrictions for certain allies. However, some of these are not super bad to work around in terms of actually being able to build good builds for other teams that are not just straight up the Dragon Ball Heroes team. So we're going to take a look at his link set and what what his links are, what they do. Then we're going to talk about his best link partners, and then we're going to go through a couple of suggestions for some team builds for him. If you find any of this information useful at all, do go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will be live streaming all of my hero summons tomorrow when the banner comes out. I'll be live about half an hour before the banner drops, so keep an eye out for that notification if you have them on, or just come by the stream. I always post on Twitter and in the Discord and stuff, and I'm going to go live anyway. So, physical Super Saiyan 3 Rose. He has Brutal Beatdown, Super Saiyan Godly Power, Prepared for Battle, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, and Fierce Battle. We can see by looking at the links here on the far right at level 10, the only defense that he gets from any of his links is Prepared for Battle, giving him 5%. So no defense from his links. In a way, that is good because you don't have to worry about characters that have like Cold Judgment, All in the Family, stuff like that. You have to sort of think about, if you're not running them with a character that has that link, they're taking a huge hit defensively, whereas Rose doesn't actually have any links like that. So you're primarily going to be trying to pair him up with someone with as many attack links as possible, just so he can do as much damage as possible. And you can see in terms of key links, he has Prepared for Battle and Fear and Faith. This is quite good because he gets key himself in his passive anyway, but it means that whether you're running him with other Saiyan characters that will have Prepared for Battle, or you're running him with extreme characters that have Fear and Faith, obviously there are some that have both, but either way, he's going to be able to get at least a little bit of key from a bunch of the different units that you're going to run him with. And then you can see in terms of categories, he's on Heroes, Super Saiyan 3, Transformation Boost, Crossover, Realm of Gods, Time Travelers, Inhuman Deeds, Corroded Body and Mind. All the masked characters are on there. Accelerated Battle, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Power of Wishes, and Full Power. We joked about this before it came out, but in a way, it doesn't really make sense that he's on the Super Saiyan 3 category because he is Super Saiyan 3 Rose, but all of the Super Saiyan Rose Goku Blacks on the Super Saiyans category. So definitely very strange. And the problem is, when you look at his link set, he doesn't have links like Limit Breaking Form, which is the Super Saiyan 3 exclusive link. He doesn't have Over in a Flash, so he's not going to be particularly good on a Super Saiyan 3 team anyway, although Super Saiyan 3 is of course one of his leader skills. So very interesting. But yeah, we'll see. Now, in terms of link partners, you can see straight away it says 7 out of 7 is the Full Power Goku Black. This is just to let us know, obviously, they have the exact same link set once he transforms. However, unless you're using a private server, because I know some of those showcases have gone up already, you can actually never have Full Power Goku Black and Masked Goku Black, like Super Saiyan 3 Rose, on the same rotation with one transformed and not the other, because they transform on turn 5 from the start of the battle, not the start of from when their first turn is. So for example, if you have a Rose in slot 7, so he comes in on turn 3, he comes back again on turn 5, he transforms straight away. So you actually can't have one transformed and one not transformed. So that's why we're not listing him as the best link partner, even though technically he is, right? So we move on to 5 links is going to be his best partnership, and we have the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Broly and the normal Super Saiyan 4 Broly, because as far as I'm aware, they do have the exact same link set, right? So they are going to share Brutal Beatdown, Super Saiyan, Prepared for Battle, Nightmare, and Fierce Battle. So this adds up to what? 30, 35, 50, 70% attack, and then 5% defense, and obviously Prepared for Battle, so the 2 key. So that is a pretty good setup. This Broly, ideally not a slot 1 unit, especially not on turn 1. On turn 2, he's going to have a lot of that defense built up from the supers on the previous turn. But if you were going to use these two together as a rotation, Rose is ideally going to be the slot 1 unit. So you, of course, bear in mind if you're not on a team with enough crossover allies, he's not going to have guaranteed guard. But if he does, He can handle the slot 1 slot relatively well. He'll take damage, of course, from big super attacks, because whilst guard is good, it doesn't take away from the fact that I think on turns I've seen without support, his start of turn defense is only around 250k. So even with guard, he's still going to get taken out by these big red zone boss super attacks that do over 1 million damage. I think it should be fairly fair to say that this Goku Black Rose, whether he's at full power or not, is not really meant to be a slot 1 unit, because his stats go up so much after he supers. He gets a ton on super from his passive, he gets a ton from actually doing the super attacks. He goes up from, like, when he gets into full power, he goes up from like 250 start of turn to being at like 750 or more, depending on how many supers after attacking. And then obviously that with guard is pretty solid. So with Broly, not necessarily the best rotation, but they definitely can work. Those 5 links giving a lot of attack in total is obviously very useful. And then Super Saiyan 4 Broly is in a similar spot. The problem with him, of course, is he too is a slot 2 unit, but he wants to be run with basically all giant 8 power allies. So running him and the Rose together as a rotation, whilst it's good for Rose for the links, it's not good for Broly, because he's not going to have a large amount of his passive active, and so his performance is going to be underwhelming. And then, of course, we have the normal Super Saiyan Roses. I mean, the STR1, even with his finishing blow buff, is pretty outdated at this point, but I suppose there are some events you could probably get away with running him. Obviously, he does give support. I mean, against like the events where you're not fighting the hardest bosses in the game, you could probably make some use of him. And of course, the AGL one is just super outdated at this point. They will be sharing Super Saiyan, Fear and Faith, Nightmare, Prepared for Battle, and Fierce Battle. So, pretty good link set, but unfortunately, neither of these units particularly meta anymore. But when we drop to 4 links, we see some very interesting selection of units here. So we have the AGL Super Saiyan Blue Boys from the Worldwide Celebration, and I believe they are one of the units he is on their 200% leader skill. They share Super Saiyan, Godly Power, Prepared for Battle, and Fierce Battle. Godly Power is a pretty good link, 15% attack and 5% crit chance. So if you were using these guys in slot 1, which is one of their preferred roles, then Rose in slot 2, and a unit that he's going to share some of those extra links with in slot 3, like say, for example, you were running Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Broly as a floating unit. That's an example off the top of my head. I'm not sure if he's actually even on this team. I think all of the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s are actually, aren't they? Because the Blue Boys do lead Power Beyond Super Saiyan as one of their 170s, right? And then Time Travelers is the other one. I'm just bringing it up here on my phone. Yeah, Power Beyond Super Saiyan and Time Traveler. So Broly is as well, right? So you can have these guys slot 1, Rose in slot 2, and then Broly in slot 3, and then they're going to be giving him Godly Power, which is a great link, and Broly, of course, is going to be able to give him the links like Nightmare, Brutal Beatdown. So that rotation could actually be very good for Rose. The Tech Gods, they're a bit outdated nowadays, but, I mean, they can still hang in some events. They're going to share, I imagine, the exact same links, right? Super Saiyan, Godly Power, yeah, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle. And then God Goku is here as well. Super Saiyan, Godly Power, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle. I mean, he's sharing the same links, right, as these other God characters. But again, another rotation that will be very effective is this guy in slot 1, Rose in slot 2. Because remember, Goku God Goku, if you want to get his intro animation so that he has his orb changing and the extra stats and all that stuff. But no, his orb changing is normal, right? I actually constantly forget what his intro buff actually gives him, even though I use him all the time. So his intro buff is, yeah, the randomly changing key spheres of a certain type to physical for 6 turns, and he gets a little extra attack buff as well. But you need there to be 6 superclass units on the team, which means you can run 1 extreme unit. So you actually could run Rose on a team with Goku Black, with God Goku and a bunch of other superclass units, and God Goku would still have his passive, which is pretty cool. And then we have units like God Trunks, the physical Zamasu, AGL Zamasu. Once he is the fusion Zamasu, they share 4 links. The only downside, of course, for all the other Goku Black and Zamasu characters is the fact that for some reason, it's very disappointing. It's one of the only things I really don't like about the design of this new guy, is that he does not have big bad bosses. So The problem with that is if you're using him as a slot 2 unit, it means if you're running a bunch of these other Zamasu or Goku Black units and you've got one of them in slot 1 and one of them in slot 3, no one on the rotation is getting big bad bosses, right? So if you want to run him on a team that's very heavy with other Zamasu and Goku Blacks, he's probably going to end up being most effective as a 3rd slot unit, because otherwise he's stopping the other 2 units from getting big bad bosses active, which we don't really want, right? And then obviously we have like another God Goku, we have the transforming blue Vegeta, the physical blue boys are here, although that's only their TUR, so they obviously, one of their links changes when they become an LR. And when we drop down to 3 links, we can see units like Full Power Goku, Sword of Hope Trunks, LR Fusion Zamasu. Obviously this is a team that he's probably going to be pretty good on depending on the build. And he does get the 200% leader skill from him as well. They share Godly Power, Nightmare, and Fierce Battle. Now, for this guy, it is a bit of an L missing out on big bad bosses, but I'm sure there will be effective team builds where you can run this guy in slot 1, Full Power Rose in slot 2, and then someone else in slot 3, like a support unit or something, and that will make up for not having big bad bosses. Obviously, once he's transformed into the Infinite Sky Zamasu, it doesn't really matter because he takes 0 damage, and they still share 3 links. We've got the 8th anniversary LRs, the Boo Duo. We've also got Vegeta and Trunks here as well. There's a lot of solid units still very meta relevant that he can be run next to, which I think is definitely very, very good for him. And if we take a look here on this page, this is all of his 200% leaders or characters that he gets the 200% leader skill from. So he gets 200% leader skill from Sword of Hope Trunks, the Blue Boys, Fusion Zamasu, all of course, all the new like heroes leaders, right? And of course his own one. And then also Kale as well, although I can't imagine there's going to be a team build that will mix very well with them, because she wants Universe 6 allies, he wants crossover, and there's not a lot of, well, actually there's like no mix between those two whatsoever. However, when it comes to the other categories, now of course Dragon Ball Heroes is going to be like the go-to, right? Like Dragon Ball Heroes or crossover, all of those units are crossover units. They're going to activate the requirements for him to have his full passive active. We've already seen some of the units that are Heroes characters already that are going to be sharing good links with him. So obviously this is the team where he's going to perform at his best or at his most consistent all the time, because he has all the crossover allies, and like, you know, this is his team, right? He's a Heroes unit. Surprise, surprise, most of the Heroes units are at their best on the Heroes team, even if they can be used on other teams as well. But the 2 other examples that I wanted to show is if we take a look at Realm of Gods, obviously we talked about Zamasu as the leader. I mean, ideally you'd be using him anyway if you were building like an Extreme Realm of Gods team to get as many 200% characters on there as possible. Although if you don't have him, you didn't get him during the Worldwide, obviously the AGL Zamasu with his Easy A is an option as well. But remember what we want for Goku Black to be at his best is crossover units. But as we scroll down and have a look, thanks to the Heroes characters, right, we have Mechikabura is still pretty runnable. He's not tanking supers from the big bosses, but he's still pretty good. We have this guy. I don't know why they didn't give the other Xenoverse characters their Easy A's. Hopefully those come through sometime soon, but I really don't know. Mechikabura is, sorry, not Mechikabura, Demigra is here and is a solid unit as well with his Easy A. He's a pretty decent support, can be floated in slot 3. There's a bunch of other Heroes units not on the Realm of Gods team who are actually on Zamasu's team. I probably should have brought up more. I should have brought up all the categories for Zamasu other than just Realm of Gods, because remember, he's leading Realm of Gods, Worldwide Chaos, or Fused Fighters, and thanks to Fused Fighters, with the extra 30% going to Time Travelers, that means he also has Sealess on his leader skill, and Sealess is still a unit that is very, very good and very runnable, I think, even in the current content. He gives Time Traveler allies a little bit of support, so he'll be supporting the Goku Black. They don't share a ton of links, and then once he transforms, he becomes a pretty hard-hitting unit. So I could see a team build where you're running Rose and then running like Demigra, this guy, Mechikabura, and then you're able to get Rose's full passive active. There definitely will be a build for Zamasu's team where you can have enough crossover allies to get Rose's full passive active all the time. But even if you can't, remember that as much as we all dislike chance to guard, a unit that has a 50% chance to guard is still runnable. You've just got to hope you actually get that good RNG, right? And if he's getting that guard proc, then he's still going to be good. And then once he transforms, his guard is guaranteed, regardless of the crossover allies. So definitely a good team build. We will be trying out videos with different Zamasu builds and stuff, so stay tuned for those. And then another interesting one is Power Beyond Super Saiyan, because again, he's on the 200% leader skill for the Blue Boys. And when we take a look at this team, now obviously when it comes to Power Beyond Super Saiyan and crossover, we actually have quite a lot of options, because all of the hero Super Saiyan 3s are on there. Any of the fusions, Super Saiyan 3s, there's the Super Saiyan 3, every Super Saiyan 3, Broly, Bardock and Vegeta are on crossover, which means somebody like Int Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, who is, you know, a bit outdated for some of the toughest content now, but against like a tech boss, you could still get away with running him as a support unit. He gives a lot of attack to his allies, and by having a Power Beyond Super Saiyan ally on rotation with him, like the Rosé, he gets a guaranteed additional super, and he's one of the few Super Saiyan 3 units that actually has prepared for battle as well as over in a flash. So at the bare minimum, he's going to share prepared for battle, Super Saiyan and fierce battle with Rosé. And then of course all the hero Super Saiyan 4s are on here. So there's a lot of characters on Power Beyond Super Saiyan that you could bring, like short events, as much as he's a super old unit now and obviously doesn't do a lot of damage, like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is still unironically usable as a tank in some of these events. Characters like Super Saiyan 3 Xeno Goku, who can still tank reasonably well if he has heroes allies, like a Power Beyond Super Saiyan team with Rosé could still be very, very effective as well. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Where are you planning to run Rosé? Who are you planning to run him with? That is if you are summoning, of course. I personally do think that he is quite a good and fun looking unit, so I'm looking forward to building some of these teams with him. It's interesting because of his leader skill, Heroes, Super Saiyan 3 or Transformation Boost, there are a lot of crossover characters mixed between those three, so he can lead a team that is mostly Heroes, but then you could throw Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and even Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta on there, and then when it comes to Transformation Boost and crossover, if I bring that up here on my phone, we have units like, well, Silas is hero, so I guess it doesn't matter. But like the Android 21 units, Cooliza, I suppose he's only supporting Wicked Bloodline. I suppose there's not a bunch on here that are really going to matter too much. But I mean, funnily enough, AGL Bardock is on here. So when AGL Bardock gets his Easy A, he's a crossover character. He'll be on Rosé's 200% leader skill. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of physical Super Saiyan 3 Rosé into full power. I think he's definitely going to be very fun to use. Looking forward to the summons. Hopefully I will see you guys at the stream. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.